Hey there, it's Nathalie, and I saved my Little Debbie's Christmas tree cake box so that I could use it as a journal cover. I've never done this before using a box as a journal cover, but I thought I'd try it. So I'm marking it at 6 inches, and I'm going to use a uh, little X-Acto knife to cut that at that 6 inch mark, and I'm going to cut it all the way around. So part of it is too thick for me to cut with my X-Acto knife. Well, I could if I kept going, but I was afraid I was going to cut myself, so I grabbed my trusty uh, paper scissors and cut through that. And then I'm going to cut away the sides and leave the end, the one that hasn't been opened. That's going to be my spine. And so cut away on both sides, top and bottom. I cut the rest of the box apart and because it was already opened up, and so I'm going to put the right sides together like if it was fabric, so the white sides will be the exposed side. And I'm just using a regular school glue stick. You can use whatever kind of glue stick you want to. And I'm going to cut that little excess off that's hanging off. I didn't try to cut it exactly the 6 inches before I started. So get the other one, and so it's going to give me like a double reinforced spine. Right there's the spine. And since I'm going to use some of my painty paper towels, it's really nice to have a white background for that to for those to lay against, because sometimes you can see all the print through there if you're using printed materials for your base. All right, now to the studio, and just decide which of the paper towels, the many of the painty paper towels that I want to use, and I'll separate them just like using a napkin. These are just leftovers from my classes that I have at College on the Square, and some of the students throw them away, and sometimes I go dumpster diving and get them out of the dumpster. So I've separated the layers, and I'm going to use some Liquitex matte medium. You could use Mod Podge or whatever kind, if you want to use PVA glue, whatever kind of adhesive you want to. You probably could use a glue stick, but I kind of like the matte medium because some of the texture of the paper towel will kind of press out a little bit, and I'm putting a little bit of extra pressure on there as I'm rubbing my hands across it. I could use a brayer. Sometimes I do, but my fingers, that's just fine. So that's going to be my front cover. Now I'm going to decide which one I want on the back cover, and which up or down, sideways or back side, front side. You know, I try to avoid the shapes that look like faces. And it shouldn't be such a hard decision. I mean, they're just junk paper towels, and it's just a junk journal. But that's part of the fun process of making these. So there we go. I love the colors that are on this, the pink and the green, and I don't remember what it was that we were painting that we had these left over from. Get that all nice and smoothed out. Make sure I'm getting my corners caught good. The corners are kind of, and the edges are kind of notorious to want to come loose. I try to make sure that I don't have any bubbles underneath the paper towels. And then I could cut this, but I'm just going to tear it. I kind of like that little raggedy edge. I'm almost finished with this, just finished tearing off these little extra bits. And I'll probably, when I get this finished, put this in my Etsy shop with some of my other junk journals that I've made of painty paper towels. Anyway, and I went to my dictionary, after I got this done, I went to my dictionary to look and see what kind of word I wanted to use. And I found the word flourish, and I thought, that'll be good. And so I'll use that. That's just kind of a little gel plate print. And so I've got all kinds of scrappy papers, and that was a palette left over from a workshop that we did, an abstract workshop. So I'm just going to tear off a little bit of that. And I know that those colors do not go with anything that is on that cover, but I really like that, and I like the contrast of that. So I think that that's what I'm going to want to do. And then I've got some marble papers. That was shaving cream marbling, and I've got a video about how to do shaving cream marbling. That's so much fun. And I've already cut my papers, the marble papers, to size for the inside cover. And again, I'm just using the matte medium. You could use the Mod Podge or whatever kind of adhesive you want to. And this will also, because of having the liner on the inside, will also help it keep from curving, because when the moisture is on one side of your paper and not on the second side, on the back side, your paper tends to, whatever it is you're using, it tends to curve a little bit. The moisture just causes the curve in whether it's a chipboard or uh, a Little Debbie's cake box. I've also got some cosmic brownie boxes. I think I might try a little journal with a cosmic brownie box. Oh well, that'll be for another video. So be sure, while y'all are here, if you like my videos, be sure you like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Share me with your friends. I'm over on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Facebook. You can find me just about everywhere. All right, that looks like that's going to work pretty good. I'm kind of liking the way that that's looking. No, I'm not kind of liking the way that that's looking. I'm really liking it. So I went to my fabric drawer and pulled out some batiks, and I really like the way that the colors kind of play against each other. And it's like, oh, do I want to use this? Well, that's what I bought it for, was to use it. But sometimes I kind of hoard fabric. It's like, I don't know if I want to really use it right now or not. If you notice the black edges around the piece of fabric, I had taken this to my sewing machine, off camera of course, and just did some straight messy stitches and little threads kind of hanging on the ends of it. I got that little technique, I think probably maybe from Robin Marie way, way back in the day. Anyway, and actually I changed my mind, because once I was like, it didn't fold right. It was kind of bulky on there. So before it was completely dry, I pulled that away, left it on the spine, and I'm going to cut the front and the back off. Now I'm going to reposition it so I have a gap, because it was just too tight. It just didn't have the flex that I like. And so now I'm just kind of deciding, well, turn it this way or that way. I mean, like, I had already made up my mind, but now I'm changing my mind. Sorry, didn't mean to be confusing about this. And then that little piece, do I want to put it on top, or do I want to put it underneath the stitching or on top of that stitching? And it's got its own stitching on it too. Anyway, so now I'm going to line those up, put the matte medium on there, line it up. I think I finally have it the way that I want it. Double check, all that good stuff. All right, and I'm going to leave me a little, like not quite a 1/4 of an inch gap in between the spine and the two covers, and then make sure that those are straight, because with it being on a fabric rather than paper, it has a tendency to kind of shift sometimes. And then I'm going to take that same fabric and put it on the inside of the spine. Now this video won't have the signatures in it, on how I do the signatures. This is just for making the cover, and you could do this with a cereal box, the cake boxes, the cosmic brownie boxes. I mean, rethink your trash. It's a good way to recycle or upcycle something that would normally end up in the trash can. Make it something pretty. Match those up, and then I am going to run a little crease down in the section right there with my finger to make sure that fabric is not too tight and it doesn't make a bulk. And so I'm just pressing it down, and I'm going to get the end of my paintbrush, grab a paintbrush out of my jar, and this is also stitched too. It's not just raw edge, it's also stitched. That's a little paintbrush end to make sure that dent in there is good. All right, and so the next thing is just to let this dry really well, and probably like I left it overnight, and I left it on that surface that I'm working on is like a sticker sheet after the stickers have been pulled away. Oh, now I need to decorate this. So forget about drying it overnight, not yet. And so I just took a little ink pad that I got from Michael's eons ago. It's almost dried out, and I just put a little bit of turquoise ink on that, the dictionary page. And that is a little nest of string, just a glob of string. And so I'm going to put this on the top, and I've stitched it. You can see that I've stitched it. Again, using the matte medium, stick that down. I already have the flourish and the extra little piece of paper. Then it's also stitched. Mash that down really good. And then I'm going to use glue, just some regular Elmer's glue, to glue down the little thread nest. And then the little curlicues on there are some little flourishes that are left over from a die cut project that I had done. And I came back and I put a little bit of extra turquoise on this. There's a little pops of turquoise in that batik, and so I wanted that on there. And it's tack all that, make sure this kind of some of the ends are not just going to be all crazy out there. And now I'm ready to decorate the back. And I've just got some random papers. That black stripe is a piece of deli paper, so it goes transparent when once you attach it with the matte medium or Mod Podge, it is sheer and it goes away. The look of the paper kind of goes away. So that's a little piece of jelly paper, jelly print paper. And lots of scraps of paper. Too much. Whenever I'm gone, if I go before my kids do, they're going to be like, Mom, what were you thinking? I was thinking art. I was thinking creativity. That's a little piece of something to do with sheetrock. I bought a roll of it at Lowe's. And anyway, so here's this little heart. I'm going to go ahead and do some little extra embellishment on it. I don't want to do just a little heart. I thought about putting a button in the little nest, but I'm going to do this little heart. So I'm going to add some just little black lines, little mark making off of the sides of it, and then I'm going to cut it out into the heart shape and glue that into the nest of the thread nest. So again, paper scissors, cut around the edge of that little heart. You can make your little heart with a marker or with paint, however you want to, or cut it out of another piece of paper and put it onto a piece of white cardstock so it has a little white edge on it. Anyway, and I put a little extra line, a little messy line on there, and then I'm going to attach it to the nest of strings. Tip it kind of anti-goggle. Now to go back and work on the back cover just a little bit more. Tear that extra off of that black and white stripe. I have another little piece of black and white stuff I want to put down, and it's actually from tissue paper like wrapping that I've had for a long time that I saved. Of course I saved it. Now, and I want to use the brown side up of this sheetrock material, and I want to go ahead and put it down with some of the Elmer's glue. And so there's brown in that little batik, and so I think that's going to be a nice touch. Then this is a little doodly thing that I did, and then I did it on black on white, and then I printed it, scanned it and printed it in reverse so that it's white on black. I found me another little piece of orange that's from that palette paper that I wanted to put on there, so I've got that orange just kind of going through there, and another little piece of the little black and white mark making thing that I did that's printed in reverse. So trying to decide where I want that to be positioned there. We're almost through with this, and I just want to thank you for, if you're still here, thank you for watching to the end. I'd love to hear your comments. Be sure you, again, like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and share me with your friends. I think this is going to be pretty cute, so you're going to want to come back for how I do the signatures in here. So thank you so much for watching and staying to the end, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.